Okay, so reading Gauranga book this evening, on page 104, and the chapter is called Murari Gupta's Devotion. So it's quite a short chapter, this one. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So Murari Gupta's devotion. I could read this one and then we'll get on to the next chapter where we'll pass the mic around. So Lord Chaitanya had a devotee called Murari Gupta, who was a great devotee of Sita Ram. He personally had the deities of Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. One day Lord Chaitanya told Murari Gupta, "You should just worship Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the source of Ram." So has anyone heard of this devotee before? Murari Gupta?
Yes, brother.
Yeah? Okay. Do you know where he lives? Have you been to Mayapur before?
Been to Mayapur, but did you see?
He's got a big house in Mayapur,
Right.
meaning that the current place is quite large even now. And it's actually on the road, like kind of behind the temple.
Yes.
Most of the pastime places are, outside of the main gate, and then from there in different directions. This one is kind of behind the temple, Murari Gupta's place, on Tarampur Road, I think it's called. And it's huge. It's got 2 levels on the house, and they have Sita Ram deities there even now. So that's in honor of Murari Gupta. And Lord Chaitanya would always tease him like this. He would always tell him, "You should worship Krishna. You should worship Krishna." So for the whole night, Murari Gupta tried just to remember Krishna, but again and again, the form of Ram was coming in his mind. He was very much attached to Ram. He was trying to follow Lord Chaitanya's instructions, but somehow he just couldn't focus on Krishna. He had so much devotion for Ram. So you can see he tried to follow Lord Chaitanya, but still, if Ram's in your heart, then Ram's in your heart. There's nothing you can do. So the next morning, Lord Chaitanya came and saw that he was up the whole night. He was looking very distracted, very depressed. The Lord asked, "What is wrong?" Murari replied, "You gave me the instruction to simply worship Krishna, but somehow I keep thinking of Ram. I'm not able to follow your instruction. I'm feeling very bad. I think I should take my life in the Ganges for not following your instruction." Wow, so he's really taking this to heart, and he's taking it really seriously. If he couldn't do something, he was willing to take his own life. So, it's like Lord Chaitanya is as dear to him as Lord Ram is dear to him. He took it like that. So he was really such a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, such a special devotee Murari Gupta is. Then Lord Chaitanya picked him up and hugged him and said, "It's all right. You are a real devotee of Ram." Later in the Mahaprakash Leela, the Lord revealed that Murari Gupta was actually Hanuman. That's why he could never stop thinking about Lord Ram. If somebody has had a very strong attachment for another deity, Lord Chaitanya would accept it. But generally, he was recommending everyone should worship Krishna. It's a very nice story. So actually he was
Hanuman.
Hanuman, yeah. So I'm sure we've all seen that picture, right, of Hanuman. And he's in the assembly, isn't he, of Ayodhya, you know? There's a story, and he proves his love to Lord Ram. He opens his chest, isn't it? Do you know that story? So he's proving his love for Lord Ram. He opens his chest and Sita Ram are there in his heart. Have you seen that picture before?
I've seen the picture.
Yeah. I don't know the story so well. Does anyone know? So in that story, we learn that actually Lord Ram is always in the heart of Hanuman. And same here, even though Murari Gupta is trying his best to meditate on Krishna, still you can only see Ram. So does anyone know what was the role of Murari Gupta
He was
in the Gaura Leela?
he's a personal secretary, isn't he, to Lord Chaitanya?
It was a good try. He definitely had close association with Lord Chaitanya. He's actually a physician. He's a doctor, Murari Gupta. Yeah. So if you know any Dr. Guptas, this is like the original Dr. Murari Gupta. Hanuman. Yeah. So it's interesting how their pastimes unfold, because in the pastimes of Lord Ram, when Lakshman is struck down, what happens? You remember? Lord Lakshman, he's attacked by the son of Ravan. I believe it's the son of Ravan. No, sorry, the brother, Ravan's brother. Yes.
I'm not be getting confused. That's not when Hanumanji went and tried to get some sort of a special plant or something.
That's the
Is it?
pastime, yeah. So there's a physician who comes to see Lakshman as he's been struck by this arrow, and it's it's like one of these, what do they call it? Like one of these mystic arrows, that have like some prayers chanted on it, and then they shoot. You must have seen it in the Ramayana videos, the old ones. And so he shoots him, and then he's like under this spell. And so the physician comes and he tells him that Lord Lakshman is not going to live. And then they're like pleading, please, like there must be something we can do. And then he says, well, you can get this herb called Sanjeevani, which can only be got from such and such a mountain, which is too far away. But Hanuman, being very valiant, he says, I'll get it. It doesn't matter what it takes, I'll get it. And he goes there, and he'd asked, how do I find it? And he was given the description. And when he got there, he couldn't tell one herb apart from the other one. So he just picked up the whole mountain, right? Where we see that famous picture of Hanuman carrying a mountain. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is the story. So he comes back and he revives. This medicine is actually what revives Lakshman again. Yeah. And he fights with what's his name? Indrajit. That's his name. Okay, so here Hanuman himself is the physician. Murari Gupta. Yes, so let's read the next pastime because it's touched upon here. It's called the Mahaprakash Leela. This is a very, very important pastime in the Leelas of Lord Chaitanya. This is a very significant pastime. And you may or may not know this pastime is something we remember practically every day in our temples. Has anyone heard of the Mahaprakash Leela before?
No, I haven't.
No? Narayan Prabhu? Anyone else? Shambhala? I'm not sure who iPhone is. Someone called iPhone here. Okay, we're about to find out then. So Mahaprakash Leela is the song which we sing at Gaura Arati time, 7 p.m. in our temples. You're familiar with that song, the Gaura Arati? Is anyone familiar with that song? Smita's nodding her head, yeah? Maybe you're all nodding your heads, I can't see. That's right, yes. So it's such a famous song in our movement. And this is the story behind the song. Yeah? So shall we get into it? You ready?
Yeah.
Would anyone like to read?
Yeah, Radharani.
Oh, yes, please.
The Mahaprakash pastime. Advaita Gosai had fasted and worshipped Shalagram Shila with Tulasi and Ganga water and prayed and loudly chanted the holy names to call the Lord to come down. Advaita was himself an avatar of Mahavishnu combined with Sadashiva. He had 6 children, of which 3 were devotees and 3 were more like caste Brahmins. Following the Samarth system, there is no guarantee to get a devotee as a child. So we try and we pray, and if we are successful, we could get a Krishna conscious child, but there is no guarantee. Shall I continue?
Yes, please.
So Advaita Acharya came to this planet, but he didn't feel qualified to give love for Krishna to everyone. He thought Krishna himself, in his devotee form, should come and give out love to everyone.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so this pastime is beginning before the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because his birth was, his appearance was called for, okay? He was actually called for to come down by Advaita Gosai. And there's a little bit more introduction to Advaita Gosai here. So who is an avatar of Advaita Goswami?
Sadashiva.
Yeah, so it's interesting, it's quite esoteric, that there are 2 personalities who combine together and they have one personality. They act as one personality. So Sadashiv and Mahavishnu, they combine and enact the pastimes of Advaita Gosai. So you see the esoteric nature of his personality here. And even this is not unusual. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is in the mood of 2 personalities. And who is that? Radha and Krishna. So yeah, it takes one to know one. It takes 2 to get 2. So the 2 of them combined, they've called Radha and Krishna to come in one form. Because he, as it says here, he thought Krishna himself in his devotee form should come and give out love to everyone. So Krishna in his devotee form is Krishna in the form of, or in the mood of Radharani, because she is the greatest devotee. Okay, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, Mataji?
Sorry, so is Sadashiva the demigod Shiv?
It's a good question. Actually, Lord Shiva also has many different incarnations, just like Krishna has many incarnations, although they're not equal to the Vishnu Tattva. They're not as powerful, as complete as the Vishnu Tattva. So actually the original Shiva is Sadashiva. Yeah, he actually isn't part of this material world. He's in the spiritual world, Sadashiva. He's in the portion which is between the material and spiritual world. Yeah. So you have the material world on one side and the spiritual world on the other side, and you have something which is known as the Viraj River. Yeah. This is where the Ganga comes from. You know how Lord Vamadev, he kicks the corner of the ocean, the corner of the universe with his toe when he reaches to the top of the universe. He brings down the Mother Ganga from that motion. That Ganga which is coming down is coming from the Viraj River in the spiritual world. So that spiritual river is what separates the material and spiritual world. And that's where Sadashiva's place is kind of in between the material and spiritual world. Kailash, mountain Kailash. Yeah. So that's his original place. And then, of course, he comes as Rudra. He takes his incarnation as Rudra. So he's one of the sons of Brahma. Yeah. He's actually the second son of Brahma. Because first there's the 4 Kumaras who were all born together. And then because they didn't want to follow the order of Lord Brahma, in other words, they didn't want to become Prajapatis. They didn't want to populate the universe and have a big family. They became brahmachari. Then Lord Brahma, he became angry at them. And from his anger, the second son was born. That was Rudra. So he was born crying and angry. Therefore, he got the name Rudra. And then from this Rudra, all the other Rudras came. Because there is, 11 Rudras. Okay? So these are all incarnations of Lord Shiva.
Thank you.
So Sadashiva, he's in the spiritual world, and he's actually a pure devotee of Vishnu. Yeah. All right. Mataji, would you like to continue reading?
Ramadas Pandit went to Advaita's house where Advaita was sitting and worshipping his Shalagram Shila.
Just one paragraph above that, Mataji.
Sorry. One day Lord Chaitanya said to Ramadas Pandit, one of the brothers of Srivas Thakur, go to the house of Advaita Goswami and tell him that the person for whom he has fasted shouted loudly with holy names, worship the Shalagram Shila with Tulasi and Ganges water. The Lord has come. Now he is in Navadvip. You deliver this message to Advaita. Ramadas Pandit went to Advaita's house where Advaita was sitting and worshipping his Shalagram Shila. Ramadas came and paid his obeisances and then delivered the message. Advaita Gosai jumped up shouting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, he has come, he has come. I brought him down, I brought him down. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He was dancing. Suddenly he became very serious and said, no, many people knew I was fasting, knew I wanted the Lord to come. How will I know that it is really my Lord? How will I know? What is the proof? Tell him I am not going. I will hide in the village. If he is really my Lord, he will call me and I will come and pay my obeisances. He will put his lotus feet on my head and I'll look up and see him in his full glory. I will see without doubt that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Mataji. So we're getting a glimpse now of the personality of Advaitacharya. Yeah, he has a unique kind of humor, a unique kind of rasa with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as most of these personalities do. And so first he was very happy because the Lord fulfilled his desire, fulfilled his prayer. You know, it was a completely selfless, pure desire. He prayed for the Lord.
I got my book because I was doing teaching downstairs. Did you hear?
Did you do teaching downstairs?
Yeah.
Very good.
And all my students were listening. I also got teaching because I also got office and everything. I also got a thing like this. I also got no.
We have another teacher here.
There's something here. There's something here. There's something here. There's something heavy here. There's something heavy here. There's something heavy here.
So take your pencils again. Yeah. Bhaktipriya, you take this.
No.
Bring it. We do something interesting. That's the color.
No.
So Advaitacharya, he Sorry.
No, I need my thing. I want it to be left here because I don't need it. Anyways, so don't close the door.
sorry about that. So Advaitacharya has a unique relationship with Lord Chaitanya because he's actually his senior. This is one thing. He's actually his senior, and so actually Lord Chaitanya always offers him respect. He always gives him respect, like it's like a father. You know, he respects him like a father or a guru. But on the other hand, Advaitacharya feels so submissive to the Lord because he's answered his prayer, and he's come and descended, and because he himself is Mahavishnu, he's Sadashiv, then he realizes how great Lord Chaitanya is fully. So because of that, he feels even more humbled, and he doesn't want this respect and honor. And so they have this funny kind of relationship in that way. So before he meets Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya is calling for him, then he's saying, let me hide, because if the Lord really knows I've called him, then he'll know where I am. Yeah, I won't just go because so many people claim to be God in this day and age. So he could just be another guy who's like that. So let me hide and then let him find me. Okay. So let's continue.
Then he saw that his wife Sita Thakurani was by his side with a full arati tray. What is that? What are you doing? He asked. If he is the Lord, I should have everything ready to offer him worship. She said. Then both of them went and hid in the village. Ramadas approached Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't tell him that Advaita was not coming. Before he could say anything, Lord Chaitanya looked up, and at that time he was in the mood of Krishna. He knew everything, so he called, Nara, Nara, come out. I know you are hiding. Nara is a nickname of Advaita. So when
Karen, please.
So then Advaita came out and paid his obeisances. The Lord came and put his lotus foot on the head of Advaita, and he looked up and saw the whole world had disappeared, and there was only Lord Chaitanya and the Brahman effulgence from his body, and there was Nityananda and the other associates holding charmers and saying prayers. He saw this and realized, this is the Lord, Hari Bol. I brought him down, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Then he called Sita Devi and took the Arati tray and started offering Arati. For 21 hours there was non-stop Arati to the Lord. That was a unique Arati, and we celebrate that Arati at the time of the Sandhya Arati. Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandir Arati Ko Shobha. All glories to the beautiful Arati ceremony of Lord Chaitanya.
Thank you, Mataji. Right, so this is how it happened, huh? This is how the Gaura Arati, the first ever Gaura Arati, happened. It's extraordinary. Yeah. Any thoughts from anyone here? Any comments?
Actually, Prabhu, now. Sorry, Mataji. You carry
No,
on.
please, you carry on.
I just wanted to say now we know why this Aarti is called Kiba Jaya Jaya Gora Chandara Aarti Ko Shobha. Because I used to wonder in the past that why do we do the Gora Aarti in the evening? Such a deep meaning according to this pastime.
Yes. Nice realization. Thank you. Yeah. But we only do it for like 20 minutes. Here they're doing for how many hours?
Yeah, this was one of my questions. So how do the manage to do that for 21 hours? You know, because like you say, we only do 20 minutes.
Why not? Huh? Why not?
But I mean, do they keep repeating or what? How do they? I mean, how does the Aarti go for 21 hours? Are they repeating again and again?
Yeah, I don't think they just didn't get tired of it, you know. They just continued it and continued it. They were so in love in the worship of Lord Chaitanya, they could just continue doing it.
But you know, in the Aarti, it actually mentions Advaita Chandra. So obviously, the wording might have been slightly different when they were doing.
Yeah, so there's a whole pastime which is going to unfold, and as you probably know from the translation of the song, there were different personalities who were also there offering the Aarti. For example, Shiva, Sukha, Narada, these three personalities are there. You know, there's Lord Brahma. Yeah. So all these demigods also came as well and offered Aarti. Yeah. So they could do that, and they did 21 hours. And Smita Mataji, we're going to say something also?
Yeah, it was just the same thing that, you know, it's amazing that they did it for 21 hours. That was my main first thing that came into my head, 21 hours of Aarti.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm amazed too. When we think about it, even the Ras dance, which we're reading about in our Krishna book group, that happened the whole night. You see? So, and then they stopped, they would have a break, they would refresh, they would go for a swim in the Yamuna, and they come back again, and they do that Ras dance. So he had a lot of things were going on. They didn't have the same, you know, a few items that we would have in our Aarti tray. Perhaps they had so many more items. You know, they call them upacharas, the different offerings in the Aarti. You know, like the conch, the ghee lamp, the camphor lamp, the incense, the flowers, the you know, all the different water and all the different items. They could expand it into so many more and more items. Yeah? So in that way they can make so many more offerings. Yeah. Because actually that Aarti and the noon Aarti, they have the most items in offering. You see, like with the nighttime Aarti and the early morning Aartis, there are fewer items. They don't have as many. No? So there's actually more and more items that can be offered. Okay, let's continue reading from here. Does anyone else want to read the next paragraphs? See, there's a few more devotees here in the group. If you joined us late, we're on page 107. Does anyone want to read?
I don't mind if nobody else wants to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Else.
Yeah, you can read and then someone else could read after you.
Yeah. Then one after another, Lord Chaitanya started giving blessings to his devotees. Lord Chaitanya said to Advaita, now you must take from me one boon, one wish. You can have whatever you want. Advaita replied, no, the fact that you have come, that's enough. That's fulfilled all my wishes. No, you must take one boon. You want liberation, you want anything. Just tell me what you want, said the Lord. No, you already came, that's enough, replied Advaita. No, ask one wish. After much insistence, Advaita agreed. All right, if I must take one boon from you, then this is my desire. You please let those souls who ordinarily do not have the opportunity to become God conscious develop pure love for you. Those who are ordinarily unfortunate, those who are ordinarily not having the opportunity, may they be the recipient of your mercy. May they be able to achieve your mercy and get the highest benediction of life. This is my special request. Lord Chaitanya replied, so be it. Then Lord Advaita said, no, but that is not all. That is only the first part. I ask you that those persons who are very proud of being very spiritual, being great devotees, that they are proud of being great brahmanas or kings, and who think that because of their material so-called position, they deserve to get your mercy, and after their pride, they neglect the devotees of the Lord. After their pride, they offend the devotees of the Lord because they think they deserve your mercy. Let them not get your mercy. Let your mercy not be given to those arrogant people. Lord Chaitanya also agreed to this.
Wow. So at the beginning, Advaita Acharya was like, he didn't really want any blessings. He didn't want anything for himself. You know, he's already like realized that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord. Yeah, and he's happy being his servant. What more do you want, isn't it? But again, we can see for the benefit of us, for our benefit, Advaita Acharya is getting some blessings, not for himself, but for us, isn't it? Yeah. This reminds me of the song we sing in Mayapur in the morning. Doya Koro Sita Pati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Kone Pai Chaitanya Nitai. Yeah. So we in this song we're asking we're asking Advaita Acharya for his mercy. Doya Koro Sita Pati. That's Advaita Acharya, his husband of Sita Thakurani. And why are we asking for his mercy? Because without his mercy, we can't get even the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Tava Kripa Kone Pai Chaitanya Nitai. Without his mercy, we can't get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So this is very important. When we see these pictures of the Panchatattva, we can pray to Advaita Acharya in this way. And we can see how he's giving mercy to us from this particular blessing which he's asking. First of all, it was him who called the Lord. And now secondly, we can see he's asking a blessing that those who wouldn't ordinarily get mercy, let them have mercy. So we should humble ourselves, and we can put ourselves before Advaita Acharya as very needy for this mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. But then he says something else as well, doesn't he? So who shouldn't get the mercy? What does he say about that? Who shouldn't get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya?
Those people who are proud.
Yeah. Proud of what specifically?
Being maybe a brahmana or being a great devotee. It says here, or even kings.
So this is the thing, we can't even get Lord Chaitanya's blessings without his mercy. You know, we can't get it by our own effort in the first place. You know, we're born in Kali Yuga, we don't have great qualifications in which we can attract Krishna by our own strength. But when we get that mercy, still there's this tendency to be proud about it. You know, we got mercy, which was causeless mercy, which was without our own ability to attract the blessings, just mercy. And then if we get proud, then Advaita is saying, don't give that person any more mercy. Don't give that person mercy, because he's proud because he got mercy. He's thinking he got mercy because of his material position, so-called material position, it says here. But this is very instructive, isn't it? What do you think? I find it very instructive. So we should be very careful when we get some mercy, when we get a bit of a taste in spiritual life, when we get some extra special blessings, or any blessings for that matter. Because we don't want to lose that mercy. We don't want to lose the ability to progress further and further and further still. It's all dependent on mercy and blessings.
It can be very easy, can't it, to have that false pride, isn't it, really,
Yeah.
that they're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, we can pray in that way to Advaita Acharya that we don't get proud. We want to have that mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. We want to have his mercy so that we receive it, so that we can approach Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Okay, would you like to continue?
At that time, Lord Chaitanya showed who he really was to many people, many associates. Otherwise, he would hide himself in the garb of a Vaishnava, a devotee. Normally, to Advaita Acharya, he would offer all respect because Advaita Acharya was initiated by his guru's guru. So he took Advaita to be higher in the rank and offered him obeisances and respect. But Advaita always thought that Lord Chaitanya was his senior. He is the original personality of Godhead, and I am just the expansion of his expansion.
Yes, so Advaita Acharya had this prayer that I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya and the servant of his servants. How did that prayer go? Does anyone remember the Bengali for that one? I don't remember it exactly. Chaitanya Dasa Muni, Chaitanya Das, Chaitanya Dasa Muni. That was the last line go. Tanra Dasa Das. Yeah. So that's that was his whole mood. That I'm not even the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I'm the servant of his servants. He placed himself like that. So it's very exemplary. That's why his name is Acharya, because he is a perfect example, a perfect teacher in how to achieve Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Because he indeed achieved that mercy, didn't he? Lord Chaitanya fulfilled his desires. Okay. If anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to just jump in and ask. Otherwise, continue reading.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. It's a little bit faint, but we can hear you.
Try this. Is that better? Better now?
Yeah.
So, Lord Chaitanya, he's the most merciful incarnation, as we know. Now, if Advaita Chandra he hadn't intervened or asked for this boon, I mean, would that made a difference?
Sorry, you said Lord, he hadn't say that last bit again.
Advaita Chandra, he said, he wanted him to be merciful to everyone, right?
Yeah.
He wanted him to give his mercy to everyone. So, I mean, if he hadn't asked, would that have made any difference? Would Lord Chaitanya would be any different to how he was?
I don't know if I can answer that question though, because I wasn't there. I'm not in the position to say what Lord Chaitanya can and can't do.
Yeah, so I mean, what I mean is he was known as the most merciful incarnation.
Yeah.
Because he's the most, because in the Kali Yuga, he's the most merciful incarnation, or is it because Advaita Chandra intervened, he became the most merciful incarnation?
It's a good question. I can't say I know the answer to that, so I wouldn't want to guess. It's a good question. I wouldn't want to guess the answer though, because
Okay.
you're right in both ways. In one sense, Lord Chaitanya came especially to give his mercy.
Yeah.
In the other sense, would he have come Would he have come if Advaita didn't call him? Would he have been giving the mercy if Advaita didn't ask him for this blessing? We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was already
Not saying.
predicted he would come. Anyway, it was predicted that he would come.
Right, yeah. But then he always comes with his associates. That's also part of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
He never comes on his own. The Lord always comes with his associates.
But anyway, I think we should still look at it as mercy of Advaita Chandra. I think that's probably the right way to go about it. That
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ruby.
That's where this prayer comes from. Chaitanya Dasamoy, Chaitanya Das, Chaitanya Dasamoy, Tanya Dasa Das. So that we should see ourselves as the servants of the servants of the servants of Lord Chaitanya. If we just think that, yeah, I'm Lord Chaitanya's servant, he'll give me mercy, then we may not necessarily get that mercy. It's more difficult.
Yeah.
It's always better to see that, we're getting it because Advaita got it, and by his mercy, so many others are getting it. That our Guru Parampara is passing down that mercy, and then, through Srila Prabhupada, through my spiritual master, I'm getting through my seniors, through my authorities, through the
Yeah.
blessings of everyone around me.
Yeah. Good point. Ruby.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Dandavat Pranam. Yeah. Yeah, one thing is Chaitanya Prabhu is Mahaprabhu is merciful. By his mercy, but he wants to give the credit to the Advaita Acharya. This is why Advaita Prabhu asked for the mercy, and this is why he gave. But originally he wanted to give, but he gave the credit to Advaita Acharya. It's not that because of Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful. Not this. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most merciful incarnations here.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
so we can say that by it is the mercy of Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is merciful. If you say like this, it is wrong.
Thank you, Ruby. That's a good point.
Thank you, Prabhu, for adding that.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Very nice class, Prabhu. Very nice class.
Just trying to learn from whatever I've heard from you all.
No.
Nice of you to join us. So yes, the original position of Lord Chaitanya is Namo Maha Vadanyaya. He's the most merciful. Yeah. So that's his original position. Yeah? So yeah, we also have that same prayer in that same prayer we say, isn't it? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More. Yeah. So we're asking Lord Chaitanya for mercy. But so it's always better though to take the humble position, isn't it? To see ourselves as the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. To be accepting the mercy through the others. So both is good. We should know that Lord Chaitanya himself is giving mercy, but we can get that mercy through the line of the devotees. Yeah. Well, they say, like, there was an example once given to me that you can see what's on the ground. You can bend down and crouch down and see what's on the ground. But if you have magnifying glass, you can see even better, more closely. If you have 2 times power magnifying glass, you see better. If you have 10 times power in the magnifying glass, you'll see 10 times more. So like that, we want to be under the power of other devotees. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving his mercy, and then someone else is magnifying that mercy more, we want to be under that devotee. And then underneath that the devotees who are under that devotee, we want to be under them. We want to be under those devotees who are under those devotees even. And then that mercy becomes magnified. So that's the best position to try to be in, to get the maximum mercy. So if you put that magnifying glass and it's very powerful and the sun is coming, yeah, the sun will ordinarily shine on the grass. But if you put a magnifying glass there, what happens to the grass by the power of the sun and the magnifying glass? This is physics lesson.
Catches fire. Catches fire.
Catches fire, yeah. So you see the same sun, its power is amplified by that magnifying glass. The grass even catches fire. Yeah. So like that, we want our spiritual life to be ignited. We want our spiritual life to be alive. Huh? Was that saying they have, fired up? Want to be fired up. So that's how to be fired up. All right. So who was reading last? Was it Smita Mataji? Would you like to? We're actually up to time now. I mean, 9 o'clock. Didn't even realize. So maybe if we could just read this one last paragraph, which is about Advaitacharya, then it goes on. This pastime will continue and discuss the mercy that Lord Chaitanya gave to other personalities. We'll just read this one more paragraph.
Okay. Actually, Advaita was always offered that's the right paragraph, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Actually, Advaita was always offered respect to Lord Chaitanya. So one time, just to get Lord Chaitanya to disrespect him, he began to speak the Patanjali yoga system mixed with Mayavada. So when he was speaking of the yoga with the Mayavada, Lord Chaitanya came after him with a stick. You don't speak this nonsense anymore. And Advaita Acharya was very happy to be chastised by the Lord. So
okay, thank you. This is a very funny story again. Yeah. So this is what the Gaura Leelas are like. It's very humorous. Huh? There's a lot of depth to it, and sweetness, and a lot of mercy. So, so just to understand it a little bit better, we can discuss for a few minutes. So sorry if we're running over time. But this is actually a different pastime which happened, which is being discussed here. And Advaitacharya was feeling that he was getting too much respect from Lord Chaitanya. And as we read his benediction, in his wish, he didn't want anyone to get mercy who was feeling proud. And he's, as a perfect example, Lord Chaitanya was giving him a lot of respect, so he didn't want that. So how did he deflect that? It's explained here. So he thought, let me do something really outrageous so that I can get chastised. Yeah, because Lord Chaitanya, he's Jagat Guru. He's the spiritual master of everyone. But Advaitacharya, he didn't get that mercy. Like, it's actually mercy when the spiritual master chastises. When the spiritual master punishes you, it's actually very you don't feel angry or something at the spiritual master when they tell you what to do, because they're helping you. They're giving you the right way of doing something. If they were just peaceful and not saying anything, then how would you be able to correct yourself? So it's actually mercy. And so he does something very extreme, Advaitacharya. He starts teaching Patanjali yoga in his classes. Yeah. And so there he is teaching this yoga system, breathing, and what the Patanjali yoga entails, all those things. And so when Lord Chaitanya came to know about it, he was like on fire, he came charging in with a stick. And then finally he was like beating him, and tried to beat him, and then Advaitacharya, was on the ground. He's an elderly man, and he was being chastised by Lord Chaitanya so severely, and he was in complete bliss. He was actually, crying tears of joy. And all the students were thinking, look, he's crying, poor old man, leave him alone. But this is the external aspect was that, and then the internal aspect was that he was actually in joy and bliss. This is what he really wanted. Then he said, okay, no more will I teach Patanjali yoga. You've given me your chastisement, which is your greatest mercy. You can see how this relationship is with Advaitacharya and Lord Chaitanya. They're always trying to see each other as a superior. Okay, so we'll end here. Thank you very much, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj ki jai.